welcome to another song title challenge where the question is, climbers, how would you write this one? This is where the climbers, listeners of this podcast, email in their song titles to info@daredevilproduction.com. Production is singular. There is no S. info@daredevilproduction.com. Please put song title challenge in the subject line so it gets into the right folder, or it won't get into the right folder. And then put as many song titles in there as you want. I go and spring them to Brent live when we on the podcast here after we press record. And the idea is to mimic the creative process that should happen on all your song titles before you begin to write the song, whether you do that on your own to revive some old wilted lettuce, if you will, like an old song title from a few years ago you haven't thought about in a while. This can breathe some new life into it because you're going to go around and try to spend 15 minutes just figuring out 5 or 6 different conceptual angles that you could use to write the lyrics before you just start writing the lyrics. I think that's probably one of the biggest differences between, say, a pro and an amateur songwriter is the amateur just goes right for the most obvious thing.
Right.
In an effort to, stampede towards the end of a completed song, as opposed to just putting a little bit of thought into it. So we do it live here every other week, just so you can see what goes on. This is not a co-write in any way, shape, or form. It's a creative exercise. You can use all of it that we say. You can use none of it that we say. The only thing we request is that you invite us to the number one party, right?
That is right. We do love the number one parties.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, just I want to encourage you to dig deeper. A title is not an idea. A title is just words. It's what you make those words mean that becomes your idea. And you always want to find the best ideas that you can. So dig for them. Let's do some digging.
All right, let's do some digging. Okay, so today's song title is from Craig Kuchler.
Craig.
And the title is Secondhand Love.
Ooh,
Secondhand Love.
All right, because my first hand is tired. All right, so Secondhand Love. So thanks for sending that in, Craig. All right, so what can we do with this? Well, obviously, it sounds like a love song. So I'll try to let the title write the song as much as possible. So I'd break down the words that are in the title and go, what do these mean? What's the opposite of these? What are different ways we can slant these? So secondhand. So you think of pawn shops, you think of, I got one. So pawn shop, right? I'm buying you a pawn shop ring because we're not wealthy. I'm not going to Jared or Zales or whatever diamond jeweler. Yeah. But this ain't no secondhand love.
Ooh,
so it's like a positive song. It's like it's a middle class. I'm getting you the best thing I can afford, and yeah,
it's a blue collar kind of thing. Yeah.
But you're not the first owner of this ring. But this ain't no secondhand love. Like this is legit. So that's a way to spin it positive, right?
Yeah, I love that.
So secondhand makes me think of pawn shop, and it's not the first one to have it. Secondhand love. So it could
be a like a step parent. Another way to kind of go down the road of the father he didn't need to be approach kind of a thing. Well, again, I think you could spin the positive. Like I wasn't his kid, but it wasn't secondhand love.
Yeah, it's like I'm not the first daddy to call you son, but this is not some secondhand love. I love you like mine. So you can take the dad's point of view, like the stepfather's point of view, going, I'm not the first one to call you son, but this isn't a secondhand love. So you got the first and second that you're playing off of.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be an adoption thing. It could be a step parent kind of thing, because it could be a mom too. Say it, maybe they adopted or his son, that I'm not the first woman to call you son, but this is not a secondhand love.
I mean, I think about a writer right now that say you got to kind of write your truth too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Imagine if you know the story. I mean, this makes you messed up a little bit, but imagine if like Luke Bryan was co-writing this song with you and his story, like he takes care of his brother's or sister's kids, I think, because they both died. He's had a lot of tragedy in his life. And so, they adopted his brother's kids, our sister's kids, because they had nowhere else to go. And of course he's going to take care of them.
Yeah.
But imagine that kind of story where you just kind of tell that tale and it's like this super powerful, gives you the feels kind of a thing. And and that's not secondhand love. And I think of it like hand-me-down is another term you could throw in there that could really work visually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hand-me-down, that'd be a good thing. Because secondhand stuff, you tend to think of with a negative connotation.
Right, it's not brand new.
It's not brand new. It's used. It's not all the sparkly, brand new, best quality of something right off the rack or whatever. And so what you might have noticed is that the first couple things we came up with are positive spins. This ain't no secondhand love. This isn't secondhand love.
Yeah.
Because generally what you want to do is see if you can put a positive spin, even if it seems to be a negative title. Because when I first heard secondhand love, I thought, well, that's a negative thing, right? First go to the negative. But if we can make it a positive thing, then, it automatically freshens it up and gives it some of the unexpected while also giving you that positive feel-good stuff that more people generally want to sing and listen to positive feel-good stuff. So that's something to take note of, dear climber.
Is there a way to maybe play on that word where, you thought maybe it was going to be secondhand love or something, but then it turned out to be something different? Like what if, there's the famous story between Eric Clapton and George Harrison. Yeah. And Layla. Like that was George Harrison's wife. But Eric Clapton and her fell in love. And I think he ended up marrying her, right? And
I'm not sure.
Made her an honest woman. It wasn't like this nefarious. I mean, it was nefarious, right?
No.
But I mean, it wasn't like a cheap thing. They were really head over heels in love. And that could be a very interesting story, an exploration, right? Like, if it's right, it's right. Even if it's secondhand love or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's something to explore. Yeah. And I think it's like putting a ring on a secondhand love. Put a ring on a hand.
Or a divorcee.
Yeah.
And how you could go into maybe like how a really solid, honest, massive amount of character driven Christian woman, let's say, feels, or even a man, like how they feel like after a divorce. So a lot of people feel like it's a failure. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I'm going to be the first one to tell you this ain't no secondhand love, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, maybe she's worried and, who'd want to put a ring on a secondhand love?
Yeah.
That sort of thing, which could be a real concern. Like, my wife has joked, if something happens to you or whatever, I'm never getting married again. Who wants this circus? Yeah. With all the kids and everything. She's like, yeah, no, done. And, but of course that's a lie. We're just joking, but
as far as she doesn't have anything ready for you when you come home tonight. Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, if she does, then she's got to get all the kids. So, justice is served. I get to go to heaven, and you get to go change the diaper.
That's right.
Don't threaten me with heaven. So
don't threaten me with heaven.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like anyway. So we're saying that in jest, but for someone that is divorced and looking at, there's somebody I know that is a single mom that has 4 kids and is about to get remarried. And I don't know her well enough to know anything about what was going on in her heart or anything. It's just, someone we know. But what are those thoughts?
Yeah.
Is that a concern that he'd want to put a ring on a secondhand love and he'd want to, all that kind of stuff? It could be a really interesting exploration of that. I don't think that's something I could really write just because I would totally be conjecture. I'd have to write that with someone who can emotionally tap into that. And that's something to think about as you're going, what are some angles going, can I bring some authenticity to that? Like, can I talk about, because praise the Lord, I'm on my first marriage and plan to be till I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't relate to that. I can imagine, but that might be a thing where you want to pull in a co-writer. You have to say, what can I bring authentically to this?
Right. Bringing something like that, the way they wrote Hold My Hand on 12 Stories record with Brandy Clark. Where it's just clearly, you just have a very, very crystal clear view through a keyhole into the mind of a woman and what she thinks as this whole situation unfolds, where her current spouse is meeting an ex-lover.
Yeah.
And it's very clear. There's nothing bad going on, but it's just all about the raw feelings. I know there's something going on, and not in the sense that they're up to anything bad at the moment, but this person different. This isn't an acquaintance.
Yeah.
So that kind of a telling expose, if you will, kind of thing of just emotional, raw emotions of like, it would be very interesting because man, how many people would relate to a song like that? That could be really great.
And you're wondering like who dumped who?
Yeah.
Am I holding the hand of a secondhand love?
Yeah.
Like, am I the second choice? Because he can't have her or she can't have him. am I here holding hands with a secondhand love?
Ooh.
If he could go back, or if that could have the option to not end, would he rather be with that person? There's that whole doubt and stuff of, am I really first choice here? Or am I,
Okay, I got it. So now let's go party song.
Okay.
And let's turn this around where you're either the girl or the guy, but you were the first love, and then you broke up because he or she went to somebody else and it didn't work out, and then he or she came back, right? Or wanted to come back, and you're like, and maybe you make a play on words where but it's like, I ain't no secondhand love.
Yeah.
And you're just like, beat it. It's just a party song, up tempo, like
Sure.
the self-empowerment thing. Forget you. If you didn't want me first, I ain't no secondhand love either.
Yeah,
You didn't want me first.
Yeah, it's like a song title I've heard before. You didn't want me then, you can't have me now.
There you go. Something like that. That could be a great way to spin that.
That could be totally empowered for a male or a female to say, hey, yeah, I'm your second choice. I don't want secondhand love. You're only here because you can't have them.
Yeah.
And another way to do it is you're in the relationship and you realize you're a secondhand love, your second choice. And you're like, I'm done. So it could be like, we're not starting this thing, or we're not getting back together, or it's time to end this thing because I'm not your first choice.
Yeah.
So I've had enough of secondhand love.
Yeah. Now, if you do the Mavericks thing on that and put some tempo to it, but have a gut-wrenching subject matter like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be cool as hell.
Yeah. And what if it's like, I'm just desperate enough to hang on to a secondhand love?
Ooh.
It's not what I love, but it's better than nothing at all. I'll hold the hand of a secondhand love,
Fascinating. Yeah, just so I can be loved. Just so
I can be loved. Or, and there are different ways to play that of, I can't be with the one I love, but I don't want to be alone tonight. And I'm not proud of that,
Yeah.
So knowing that, yes, this person you're with is second place is not your first choice, but that's what I got, which is not a proud song. It's like, but that could be a thing, right? Or the other side of it is, I know I'm not your first choice, but I love you enough to be your secondhand love.
Yeah.
So there's this old thing I saw on TV one time. I thought the twist on it was really clever. Somebody was like parodying a country song or something. So I don't know if it's a real song, but other than in the skit, but it was like, he was doing like an old Kenny Rogers thing or something. I can't remember who it was, but he's like, I don't mind being second fiddle. I just want to play in your band.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, okay. I mean, there's a lot of heartache in there. There's poignancy, but there's also could be empowerment of, I'm not going to be your secondhand love.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of ways that you could spin that. Now, how could you juxtapose first against second? We've done a little bit of it, but is there, or a way that you can go first this, secondhand love, third something, maybe sort of roll it?
First bottle of wine, secondhand love, or first kiss, secondhand love, third bottle of wine.
Yeah, that could be cool too, man. I like that. I like where that's going.
First shot at a secondhand love. Let's see.
Yeah, this is my first shot at a secondhand love and a third bottle of wine, and things went fine.
Yeah.
Because I like that my first shot at a secondhand love.
Yeah,
and that's the duplicity in the word there.
And what what I mentioned first, like, I'm not the first one to call you son, but this is no secondhand love. So you got the first that, it's not the first, it's a second. But that's part of it too, is letting the title write the song. What can we play off each word? So we have like holding hand of a secondhand love. Let's see. Maybe secondhand love isn't love at all, or
taking a stand on a secondhand love, or the feet and the hands or something.
Let's see. It's, secondhand love is still love, or it's not. What are some other ways to do it? Second last, or whatever. Secondhand love is the first to last.
What about my last secondhand love?
Yeah. Or this could be our last secondhand love.
Oh, like two divorcees getting together and falling in love.
That's good. This would be our last secondhand love. Like, hey, she left you, he left me. We both feel kind of used and we know lived in. This would be our last secondhand love. Or we've been through this a couple times. It makes it feel like it's if it's our last secondhand love, like we've been through it a couple times, like third marriage or something to get to last. But that's interesting. There's something interesting about that. What can it be love besides like romantic love? Like what if it's like it's a hand-me-down love? Like I love the Razorbacks because my daddy loved the Razorbacks. I love the Packers because everybody in my family, my daddy loved the Packers, and I grew up, and he would buy me Packers gear every year for Christmas, and we watched on the game together. It's a secondhand love, like it's a hand-me-down.
Everybody loves the Packers because the Packers are awesome. Okay.
Well, okay, of course, that is, it needs no explanation, but you know what I mean? Like it could be that, it could be guitar, it could be the Clash, it could be.
Well, it could be a store. It could be a restaurant, right? It could be. How about coat of many colors, like Dolly Parton's thing?
Yeah, like Goodwill shopping for your kids. The love is the love you have for their kids.
Yeah.
The secondhand is the stuff you're buying for them. But
see, that's good right there. You could tell like a real poor story.
Exactly.
Somebody struggling through with nothing but love. Well, again, like coat of many colors.
Coat of many colors, yeah. So it could be that kind of secondhand love. What if it's people falling in love at a pawn shop?
Well, there you go. Brand new love in a secondhand store.
Yeah, exactly. First time love in a secondhand, first secondhand love in a first, I don't know. But, like the wedding ring or the engagement ring that I bought for Emily, when she was in hair school over in West Nashville, there's the golden pawn shop or whatever, just down on Charlotte. And there was this diamond ring that she just thought was beautiful, looked, vintage antique, this yellow diamond thing. And that was the one she wanted me to get for her when I finally got off my butt and popped the question. And she and the girls would go in there and on a regular basis, like once a week, and you just go check out that ring. And one day it was gone because I'd been there. And so she knew. The guy knew. When I showed up, I was like, there's supposed to be like this yellow diamond. He's like, you're the guy. I'm like, yes, I am.
I have so many questions about this, Brent, but this is not the time to ask.
Okay, this is not the time. So how did the ring get there? Who knows? But I know we're staying.
How about? I mean, maybe that's too much of a '90s approach on this. But what if the story's about the ring?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and about the dude that's dropping off the ring. Maybe he lost his wife. Maybe it's like Monday morning church, right? Where he's going to go take that ring and pawn it and sell it or something like that. And it's like all the love that came with everything that ring meant to him and to her and to all that. Like that could be an interesting twist on it too, because he's going to let it go.
Yeah.
And maybe there's like some energy in there that he feels would be better on somebody else's finger.
They can find a second hand to be on.
He would never use it. Yeah. Like he would never give that ring to anybody else. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I ain't going to get married, but nobody's ever going to have this ring. But
yeah.
And I don't need to have it, right? It needs to be set free kind of a thing or whatever. That could be interesting.
That could be a thing. That'd be cool. I like going back to the kind of the secondhand shopping for people you love. Like Mama made sure we had enough.
Yeah.
There's no secondhand in her secondhand love. She still got us everything she could to take care of us. It just wasn't from the best stores. Shop discount.
Right. Yeah.
There's nothing second place about her secondhand love or whatever. So that could be kind of cool too. So it's a positive thing of like, I think that could be pretty cool. Again, depending on your lane.
That's a lot of looks, man.
That is. Right, it's a wide open title, I feel like. So
yeah, that's a good.
We've hit our 20, so
we got farther than we thought we were going to get in that. I thought, this should be interesting, but I was just kind of like, nah. And then we just hit that one right away. Like that wasn't even a struggle. We got going pretty quick.
Like, which one do we want? It's like
all right. So if our boy Craig Kuchler wants to work with you on this privately, what can he do?
Yep. So I do private consulting. So I do coach writing, I do Q&A, all that good stuff. You can see my calendar, find out more about the types of appointments I do, and book a session at songwritingpro.com/coaching. That's songwritingpro.com/coaching. I can help you prepare your song. I can help you repair your song. I do private song title challenges, which again are not co-writes, but just helping you work through ideas. That's a lot of fun because you can tell I enjoy doing these. So that could be something we can do. So really, I'm just at your service. Songwritingpro.com/coaching.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, that takes us to the end of another killer song title challenge episode. Please send in your song titles, as many as you'd like, to info@daredevilproduction.com. Please put song title challenge in the subject line so it gets into the right folder. We get lots of email, and you got to help me help you, route this thing so it gets a shot. And that's that, guys. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.